us as he has all season long to talk about the weekend coming up and the weekend that was. The weekend coming up is a regional, an NCAA regional on the Plains at Auburn. The weekend that was, well, it was also in the state of Alabama, not far from Auburn in Montgomery, where Southern Miss won the conference tournament. Coach, congratulations, SunBelt Conference Tournament champs in year one in the league. What an accomplishment for your ball club.
Yeah, it really was, Richard. So proud of our guys. And, we finished one game back on the regular season title. Coastal Carolina, edged us out there. They just took care of business on the last weekend, and we took 2 out of 3 from Lafayette. But, they had won the head-to-head against us at their place earlier in the year with winning that series. But, had an opportunity to in our first year in the SunBelt Conference to have a conference championship in the way of a tournament, and that's exactly what our guys did. It didn't go without a tough defeat from Appalachian State there in the first game on Saturday, but our guys, I'm just so proud how we picked up where we left off from that Saturday against Lafayette to finish the regular season and move right into that tournament and play really, really well.
What stood out for you in the championship game? You mentioned beating Louisiana 2 out of 3 in the final weekend of the regular season. You get them in the title game, and you win that one 6-2. What was the difference in your mind?
Well, I just think that it has to start on the mound. Nico Mazza gave us a great start out the gate, 3 1/3 innings in that championship game. Both teams were tired. That we both had to play 2 games the day before. Certainly, Lafayette had 2 very emotional wins over Coastal Carolina, who is a really good club, and I think Lafayette is too. But we suffered a defeat there in the first one and had to win the second one, and a winner move on situation. So both of us were tired coming into Sunday, so it was a matter of which team was going to outlast the other, and certainly our guys did that. Mazza gave us a great start, going 3 1/3, but then Justin Storm, he gave us that glimpse of what he did last year. He mirrored the same image against LSU in our regional here, where he went 5 innings against them and got the win. And of course, in this championship game, he went 5 2/3, striking out 8 and walking 2, I believe, only giving up 3 hits and no runs. So very dominant performance on him. We didn't have to go to Tanner Hall. We did have Tanner ready if we needed to be to close for just 1 inning and basically use it as his bullpen. But Storm wanted him to get his rest for this coming tournament that we're involved in at Auburn.
Well, why don't we just transition there to the weekend coming up? What a great run it was there in Montgomery, and you get to walk off the field with a trophy. That's not the trophy though that you want when it's all said and done. You want the one that they give out at the end of June. So your road to Omaha starts on the Plains, and you know what I'm going to ask you. Tanner Hall, you're a 2 seed. The goal is to win the regional, not just to win the first game. You have traditionally used whoever your ace is in the first game of the regional. Will you adjust that thinking at all, or are you going to run Tanner Hall out for game 1?
I don't know. We haven't discussed it. We've been trying to compile scouting reports and watching synergy on all 3 of the clubs that we're facing. And in that tournament, we have obviously Auburn as the host. Penn out of the Ivy League is in there as well, and Samford out of the Southern Conference will be the one who we take on. So, all 4 of us obviously playing good baseball here at the end of the year. Otherwise, you don't get in it. 3 of the 4 were conference tournament automatic bid winners, with Auburn being the only at-large of the field that we face this weekend. But haven't really decided yet. I know that Samford is good. From what I understand, they have a big arm on Friday that really leads the way, kind of like our guy Tanner Hall does. So, the last thing I want to do is get in a loser's bracket right off the bat, in all honesty. But I hadn't made that decision yet. We still have a little time before we declare who that starter will be.
Scott, when you've debated that in years past, how much of a debate in your mind or with your staff has that been? Have you really considered, because I think, unless I'm not remembering this correctly, most years you have gone with your ace in the first game. Have you really kind of dug in and debated, okay, what's best? Or has generally speaking your philosophy been, we throw our game one guy in game one, we go try and win game one, and then we figure it out from there?
Well, here's the argument with it, Richard. Certainly, you're right. I've always gone with our number one, and the reason is that I don't want to get in a loser's bracket right off the bat. I've seen some coaches that have tried to save their guys, and they throw off because they feel like, their two guy can take care of business, and I've seen it backfire many, many a times. Not going to mention who that coach or coaches are, but over the course of my career, as I've watched people and how they prepare and determine who they're going to pitch and their reasons. So I don't want to get in the loser's bracket. Also, you're playing a team that is seeding purposes wise is one below you. So we Sanford is a 3 seed. I don't want to send a message that, to their team like, hey, they don't think we're very good. They're not going to throw their number one. Certainly that gives them motivation to come out and play better than what they would normally play, if so be. And then, of course, they have a stud. Everybody's got a good pitcher, that they're going to throw out there on the first day for the most part. And certainly the reports that we're seeing on Sanford, they do just have that. They have a really big arm that's really good. So, you sometimes you want to second guess easy. In a perfect world, you go, yeah, we'd love to save Tanner, but you're not guaranteed obviously any kind of win in that first one, and that's kind of what I side when I make those decisions. That's kind of what I base it on.
I'm curious. I mean, obviously you want to host, right? I mean, you'd love to be at Pete Taylor Park. Do you put your head on the pillow on Sunday night after winning the conference tournament, and maybe even your players as well, and go, we did everything we could do, and if they decided somebody else was more deserving of hosting, then so be it. We're just going to go play baseball. But you can kind of feel good about the work that you put in to put yourself in a position, right?
Well, I really do. I mean, obviously very disappointed that we weren't hosting. But if the RPI is still what we're basing everything on, and of course what Cohen stated, that is where we are in the state of college baseball, and it needs change, then certainly we were on the outside. I mean, we weren't within that 20. I can't feel sorry for myself without certainly really feeling sorry for Campbell University at a 14 RPI and didn't get to host. I mean, so that would, that would really be upsetting. But it is, I feel like where the state of college baseball is as a whole, particularly at the Division I level. There's several programs out there that are investing in their facilities and making those commitments to the game. There's programs, there's more parity right now than there's ever been. And it is, it's kind of frustrating when one conference, seals half the host sites, 8 of them. And I get it. I mean, the SEC is a very good conference, but, there's a lot of good baseball schools out there as well. So, but, that's the cards we've been dealt. That's what we'll deal with. We'll go on the road and we'll prepare to win on the road.
Last thing for you today, Scott, and hopefully we're talking again next week as you're getting ready for a super regional. Matthew Etzel. I remember after week 1, I asked you specifically about him because he had a good week 1, and you kind of raved about what you thought he was capable of. And now you look up at the end after 58 games, and he's tied for the team lead in batting average. He's put up good power numbers, 7 home runs. He's got the 15 doubles. Just a really good season all the way around for him.
Well, he is. And, every level you move up, Richard, it's an adjustment that first year. Very, very few just dominate their first year. And there's a lot of them that, honestly, they don't see the field much their first year. And I don't care if you're talking about a traditional student coming out of high school or if it's a junior college transfer that's moving up from JUCO to the D1 level. It's an adjustment. The speed of the game is faster. You have to have the ability to make adjustments and slow it down. So, but having said that, Etzel has been really good in that first year. I thought he would, honestly, I remember saying this on several different occasions to media outlets that I thought that he would break the single season double records for us. And, and where 15 is a good year and 7, obviously with home run, with that power numbers, it's good. But, he's a complete player. He's been penciled in 58 out of 58 games in that leadoff spot for us. I just has a knack to make us go. He has the ability to steal bases and turn what would have to be an extra base hit to score him into just a single with a stolen base. So excited about him, can really move well in the outfield, right and left, covers a lot of ground. And, just a workhorse as a player, after practice and before practice.
Scott, we don't want these conversations to end, and we don't want your time in the dugout to end. Go get it done on the Plains this weekend.
I'm with you, Richard. I appreciate you having me on, as always. Thank you.
Always great to visit. Scott Berry, the head baseball